Okay, so this afternoon we're focusing on, we move from Buddha Dharma to Sangha and then Guru devotion to get an understanding of what that is. And then we're going to look at the more esoteric aspects of Buddha with the different bodies of the Buddha to inspire us even further. And then we'll finish with, it's all right, it's just doing funny things to me. Then we'll finish with a nice meditation on Guru Shakyamuni with some mantra recitation. Yeah? That'll be the last one of the day. Okay, so to begin the afternoon, let's just get into the zone and do some mindfulness meditation. And hopefully we're not feeling too sleepy. That's always the problem after lunch, but hopefully that's the nice thing about having 2 hours for lunch, is you can get sleepy and then you can wake up again. So you're rested and ready to focus on the afternoon topics. So do just relax. Take some deep breaths. Let anything that has been stimulating your senses over lunch, delightful flavors, pleasant conversation, hopefully that's all. And then just let that rest like snow falling to the ground. And bring your attention to your breath. And focus the mind. And we just remind ourselves of our motivation, just picking up from the morning. Why you're here. How the meditations have affected you this morning. And our ultimate wish to benefit others. So by looking at my own refuge strengthens my practice and inspires me on the path. We'll just talk a little bit about generally the idea of Sangha before we do a more formal meditation. So just let your eyes relax, or you can stay in meditation posture while you listen, because I'm just going to explore some of the ideas around the notion of Sangha. So Sangha is from Sanskrit Sang, S-A-N-G-H, a group who join together to realize the Dharma, the teachings and the methods. There is a difference between the Sangha jewel of refuge and those who we might consider to be our Sangha, our group. So the Sangha jewel are Arya beings who have realized emptiness. But depending on the times that we're living in and our access to teachers, often those who are Sangha perhaps haven't quite managed that. And we don't necessarily have access to those Arya beings. So there are kind of general guidelines about who we can call Sangha. But first of all, I wanted to talk a little bit about being part of a center, because that is really in your direct experience now, and how we see each other. So always within a center, or usually within the big centers, not necessarily the study groups, but the big centers, you will have ordained Sangha. And the symbolic representation of Sangha are 4 Arya beings who are ordained, and they keep the 5 lay precepts and further vows set by Buddha in ethics, in ethical restraint. But if those aren't attainable, you can have 5 lay practitioners who also, you can have lay practitioners who also keep the 5 lay precepts, which are anybody who takes refuge will take all of them, and possibly the preceptor, the one who is giving refuge, will say, well, you can leave 1 out if you can't manage that, or 2 out, depending on what they've understood to be the nature of the minds of the students in front of them. So then, not to lie, not to steal, not to kill, not to engage in sexual misconduct, or to take intoxicants. So usually the lying, stealing, killing, and engaging in sexual misconduct is a given, but certainly in our society, they kind of go, well, just don't get drunk. Because they're usually pretty kind. And in the land of margaritas, I understand that. Because there's a point to this, because taking a vow is a very serious decision, yeah? And you take it not because you're trying to impress the guru or the Buddha, but because it's protecting you. It's your protection. A vow is your protection. So again, we have to understand it's a bit like following any rules in society. If you feel the rules are pointless or meaningless, then you want to break them. Yeah? If you feel that they're being imposed upon you, you're going to want to push against them, possibly. Yeah. So when you take a vow, you need to have understood exactly why you're doing that. And it is to protect your own mind. So the obvious thing with intoxicants is that you can't meditate when you're tiddly or stoned or whatever it is. You can't. You have no focus, no concentration. It's not helping your mind. And then your mind is also taking refuge in intoxicants. It's an interesting sound. Are we okay? Yeah. Sounded like a goose to me. Okay. So obviously, looking at the other vows, lying, stealing, killing, these are non-virtues. These are definite non-virtues. And sexual misconduct, again, that's a dodgy one, which people kind of work their way around. But basically, you're causing sexual misconduct is if having sex with another person is causing suffering to them or others. Yeah? So that's how we identify that one. So that's engaging in non-virtue. And taking intoxicants, the reason they will do this in the West, and I've even heard the Dalai Lama talked to Tibetans about drinking Chang, is that they just say, when your mind is wavy, then you can commit non-virtue. So that's the reason there. You're not stable, you're not rational, and therefore you're more likely to commit non-virtue. So take care, basically. Okay, so Arya beings, the Sangha jewel, are not ordinary beings, obviously, because they have realized emptiness. So we will see on the shrines around us images of what we perceive to be Arya beings. The lamas, yeah, our teachers, and we'll come on to Guru devotion later. So add more detail there. But if we're talking about the center, or what we're saying is the people that are around us are our kind of family. They're our spiritual friends. And it's okay to call them your Sangha. They're supporting us on the spiritual path. So really important to have harmony in a center, to support one another, to continue making the Dharma available to yourselves and others. But need to understand that there has to be, just because they're practicing Buddhist, doesn't make them perfect. We all make mistakes, we all get things wrong, and in many ways, we are still ordinary beings. Yeah? So understand that and have a lot of compassion and a lot of tolerance and support each other. We should be able to be transparent with one another. We shouldn't have to hide, as I've mentioned before, we shouldn't have to hide behind Dharma jargon and ideas of what a good Buddhist should be, and not wanting to reveal to others that we've done this or we've done that. We need a big sense of humor, a lot of tolerance, and being able to, accept ourselves and others for what we are trying to do. So as you can see, that's great. That's great amongst us all, that kind of tolerance and harmony and sense of humor, really important. But make the distinction between that kind of Sangha and the Sangha jewel. Okay, so let's do a meditation on the Sangha jewel. So let's just work our way up. Remember, we are Sangha. So from our heart, from our inner being, we are that kind of family Sangha. We also have the potential to be the Sangha jewel, in that we are practicing the Dharma in order to realize emptiness and generate bodhicitta. So that is our inner being. We have Buddha potential. We have innate wisdom, Dharma. And then inner Sangha is that ability to be there, to guide others. Because clearly our teachers, our gurus, are the Sangha jewel. So just really resonate with that potential within you operating on a few levels there. Very profound. And when we're keeping the precepts and practicing virtue, that is what draws people to us. So let's move to these Arya beings now. The three jewels of refuge, the Sangha jewel. Their qualities. They have inner wisdom to counteract their delusions. If they have completely realized emptiness, they do not have delusions. They will be on the path, the grounds and paths of becoming bodhisattva. They have direct insight into conventional and ultimate truth. What does that mean? The understanding of the conventional truth we live by as conventional beings. They completely see. And special insight into the nature of reality. It might help you to visualize someone who you perceive to be Sangha jewel. This might be Lama Zopa, or His Holiness the Dalai Lama. Just think about them as the Sangha jewel and contemplate these ideas, what they have had to do to get to this point. If they are Mahayana Sangha, they are seeking liberation not for themselves, and they're practicing to remove obscurations to complete omniscience. They've eliminated attachment and aversion. That prevents absorption into cessation. The third noble truth, the achievement of cessation. They've followed the path. The Sangha jewel have dedicated lifetimes of incredible self-discipline, sacrificing ordinary pleasures, developing renunciation, practicing ethical restraint in a world that is full of temptation, seduction. Think about it. They create the causes and conditions to be reborn with precious human rebirths and incredible opportunities to develop on their path. They have made special relationships with their gurus. So that they meet them again and again. Until their path is completed. Now this, of course, is blissful. Imagine that bliss. Of your mind revealing more and more bliss in the nature of genuine happiness. But it takes enormous, unbelievable dedication and discipline in this world. And as Arya beings with the Mahayana motivation to benefit us, their practice of compassion is immeasurable. And the beauty of the Sangha jewel is that we have direct contact with them. If you like, they are representatives of the Buddha, here, tangible. You can see them, you can hear them, you can gain personal advice. They inspire us. So whilst we might think the Buddha as possibly unattainable, existing in our imaginations and in history, the Sangha are role models amongst us. They lead us through example. So spend the last few minutes of your meditation thinking about those beings who you really believe to have attained the wisdom of emptiness because of how they are, because of their self-discipline, because of their compassion, because of their uncanny ability to know your mind and guide you as an individual. And then think of your Sangha family, those who may not be the Sangha jewel, but you count as your Sangha. Their own discipline, their own renunciation, their own wish to help, to volunteer, to be of benefit, to spread the Dharma, to practice together. Without that support, we'd be very lonely practitioners, and our practice might fall away. So how important is that Sangha family? So our outer Sangha are the Arya beings and the spiritual community who guide us, stand alongside us. We all inspire each other. We all know each other's life stories to a certain extent and think, and yet they're practicing the Dharma. How incredible, how special. They give up their time to come to teachings, to help. And you, as inner Sangha, recognize yourself as one of the spiritual community. Value your own determination and courage. And your bodhicitta motivation. Just really bring that meditation into your heart and generate light, appreciative light around your own body, an appreciation for your inner Sangha. And then you can generate light out towards your community in this room, online, around people you know, teachers you know, facilitators, managers, spiritual program coordinators. Just think of all those you know, send them light. And then, of course, you can end with sending light to those guru-like figures, those aria beings. So a few minutes on your own doing that. You finally absorb the light into your heart. Just recognize the interdependence. And then end your meditation. You want a bit of a stretch? Get up, move around a bit before we do the next bit. And you know, it's perfectly acceptable to do lying meditation, supine position, as long as you're not going to nod off and start snoring. So like we did before, you know, just lie on your back if you're getting a bit sore. You okay up there? Good. Mm. Okay. Let's have a little bit of a discussion about Guru devotion. I think we've learnt a lot in the West about taking care with Guru devotion, so we must start with that. Because I think there has been a tendency for us all we're so desperate for refuge that when we found somebody who we felt was a qualified guru, then we fell into devotion without really checking up. And so we are very fortunate in that most of the gurus or the qualified Arya beings or qualified teachers that we have are totally reliable sources of refuge. But even within the traditional Tibetan tradition, there is a warning about who to take on as a guru. So we really need to be sure. Most of us are in a situation where we will probably have very respected teachers, some of whom may well be Arya beings, and that is for us to determine and investigate. But we won't necessarily have what is a really formal guru-disciple relationship. So it's best to go very gently with this. And some people get very desperate and are desperate to find their guru. That's clinging. Yeah? It's clinging and grasping, and we have to take care because, again, it could be falling into the realms of spiritual materialism. I have a guru. Yeah? And of course, there are some people out there in the world who realize that it gets quite a lot of power and you can make quite a lot of money out of it. So they sell themselves as gurus. Yeah? So again, we have to take care. And as I say, within the FPMT organization, we are very fortunate. But there are occasional falls from grace, and we just need to take good advice and take care. So I'm just going to talk a little bit about that to begin with before we do the meditation. So this is a nice description from Lama Yeshe of what makes qualified guru. A qualified guru is someone who has gained mastery over his or her mind, who understands the psyche of the disciples and has the psychological means and methods to guide the disciple on the blissful path to liberation and enlightenment. Okay? So let's just bullet point that, as I like to do. Gained mastery over their minds. Understands the psyche of their disciple, of their disciples, not just students, people who have formally taken on a guru-disciple relationship. Has the psychology and the methods, which is the Dharma, to guide those disciples to liberation and enlightenment. That's a qualified guru. So it's a very serious commitment. So before we accept anyone as a spiritual guide, you have to take care from your side that you can carry it out, because it can be done in great excitement and glee. My guru. And then after a while you get into your life and you can't keep the commitments. And that relationship can become a bit dissipated. And this is quite common in the West. So it is a very serious decision to make. It's usually from two sides. The guru will know that you are a suitable disciple. And in my experience, those teachers who feel that you're being enthusiastic, but you're not really ready, will take care of you and go, well, and we have a nice relationship. Try and do this, try and do that. It's a bit like taking the lay precepts, the lay vows. They're very gentle, and they kind of understand and want that connection, but probably know that realistically you're not quite there yet. Yeah. Yes, it's very true. They do know, and they know your minds and have had that experience. And other people I know have had that experience. And then that's okay, because then if you don't get to do it, you just think, oh, I haven't done this, and he asked me to do retreat, I haven't done. Then you can think, well, I haven't taken that on fully. I'm just kind of practicing, yeah? Especially for lay practitioners who have a whole load of stuff going on in their lives, yeah? Okay. So a guru teaching the Lamrim should know the entire path to enlightenment. So aren't we blessed in that, with certainly within the Gelugpa tradition, they have all this monastic training, they do the debating, they take the Geshe degrees. I mean, it's just incredible. 20 odd years training, and then they're sent to centers to help people. And then, look at Geshe Sherab. He lives here, probably hardly has any contact with other Tibetans. Incredibly, there's a lot of sacrifice, a lot of self-discipline. Yeah? So, and also if you see our ordained Sangha, our ordained Sangha around the different centers, they're also, most of the community will be lay practitioners, and they're having to keep extra vows, etc., etc. So that's quite a discipline as well. Okay? So back to the whole guru-disciple relationship. It's said that the best Mahayana guru, the best Mahayana teacher, is one who has 10 qualifications. So I'm going to kind of zip through these. A mind subdued through the higher training of ethics. Yeah. A mind pacified through the training of concentration. That means a lot of meditation that they've done and trained in. A mind thoroughly pacified through the higher training of wisdom. So, the best guru has attained enlightenment. So therefore, those images, pictures, photographs on the shrine are, as far as we know, within the FPMT, images of teachers who have realized emptiness. How incredible to have in your community teachers who have realized emptiness. I mean, yeah, really fortunate. And who are bodhisattvas as well. So number 4, more qualities and knowledge than the student. Well, that's obvious. A wealth of scriptural knowledge and oral transmissions. So they've been training, and the oral transmissions is really important. And to sit with a teacher and get an oral transmission of a teaching is said to be a great blessing. And it possibly happens less and less these days. And I don't know how Zoom comes into it, really. If you're getting a teaching through Zoom, it's not direct. It isn't direct. There's a lot between you. So perhaps, I don't know, depends on the power. Well, I can't comment on that anyway. Don't know about Zoom. Right, number 6, the experience of an insight. The experience of an insight into the meaning of voidness, understanding, special insight into the nature of reality, wisdom, emptiness, yeah? Experience, direct experience. So it's not just something they know loads about, because tomes have been written on emptiness, volumes. It's not just that they know that, they have an experience of it, direct experience. Enthusiastic perseverance in teaching the Dharma. Well, you see that, don't you? No, they get up on their thrones and boom, you're in the palm of their hands. You're in the palm of their hands, not just because of the content, because the Dharma is pretty amazing anyway, but because they have direct experience and they are joyous. They're so joyful in their practice. So wonderful examples. Skill in teaching according to the different levels of the disciples. That's an interesting one, because you can, when they teach, it's as if they are getting through too many levels. And often you will have people come out of the Gompa and go, oh, I got this. And somebody else will, oh, and I got that. And everybody's getting something different that is absolutely perfect for that practitioner. And how many times have I heard and said myself, it's as if, I have to say he here because the majority of my teachings have been with male gurus, apart from, I can't even remember. What's her name? Kadrala, apart from Kadrala. Yeah, but most of them have been he. How many times it's as if he was talking directly to me. Yeah? And I'm pretty sure a lot of people going, oh yeah, that's happened to me. It's as if they're speaking to you. They know you. Motivation to teach out of loving kindness. Loving kindness, they want you to be happy. Yeah? They're not teaching you to make you miserable, although sometimes I give the example here. I was talking to, I think I was talking to Dawn and Christopher about this, about the combination of Lama Yeshe and Lama Zopa, and how Lama Yeshe would come in and be full of, don't worry, dear, just try this. Don't worry, it's fine. And then Lama Zopa would come in and going, you're all going to the hell realms. Hell is your permanent residence. Good policeman, bad policeman. But a good combination. So motivation to teach out of loving kindness. Yes, we want to be inspired and encouraged, and we want to laugh and be happy. But yes, let's be realistic. He's not telling you a big fib. He is recognizing that actually we need to recognize the preciousness and the rareness of our human rebirth, precious human rebirth, and make the most of it. And make the most of it. So, hence those teachings. And then finally, great patience to teach and not feel discouraged. Well, we have that example of Avalokiteshvara, don't we? Who, after eons, finally went and cried. And Tara, the two Taras had to help him because he was so disturbed and so upset and so disappointed that after eons that the people of Tibet were still crazy with wild minds, yeah, and bad ways. So not to give up. And this is the feeling of when you might have a bunch of students in front of you like this, and then you're teaching them, and then some of them are falling asleep. Or some of them are feeling, getting twitchy or looking at their phones or wanting to go out. And as a teacher who has incredible concentration, just imagine how they must despair, but they don't. They don't despair because of their loving kindness. Yeah, because they have such kindness. So those are the 10 qualifications. But before we go into the meditation, if you can't find a guru, with all 10 qualifications. Then you look for somebody with 5. This is degenerate times for you. So a mind subdued by the 3 higher trainings, as well as great love and compassion and realization of emptiness. And if you can't find one with those qualities, then the minimum is he or she puts the future lives before this life because of being free from worldly concerns, or puts others before themselves because of great compassion. So we are really fortunate in that we don't have to look far to find a Mahayana, a great teacher, a great guru with those 10 qualifications. Yeah? Yeah. But, you know, degeneration being as it is, this is what we're trying to take care of, the tradition, in order to keep the quality of our teachers. Yeah? And that's something as a Sangha we're responsible for. If we want great gurus, then how do we keep them? How do we keep the tradition going, especially as East comes to West, and West is so different? And then just this little quote before we go into a meditation. Lama Zopa said, when the qualified guru meets with a disciple who is able to bear hardships, enlightenment is as easy as if made by hand. So there's the phrase, able to bear hardships. It's not easy. That's why we need courage and determination. Yeah. Okay, let's reflect on Guru devotion. Perhaps you are fortunate to have a guru. And perhaps you are fortunate enough to have really reliable teachers. You know, Guru devotion, think of that word devotion. Wouldn't it be wonderful if I developed a relationship with a teacher and I was devoted to fulfilling what they asked me to do, whatever that meant? That would be Guru devotion. I would entrust them with my mind, with my life. They would be more important to me than anyone. It's as if they would be kinder to me than the Buddha himself. They would be the source of all my happiness. How might I be a good student? I need to develop great respect by remembering their kindness. All our good qualities come from our spiritual friends and our Guru. So here we're going to contemplate the 4 points of how to develop respect by remembering their kindness. The spiritual teacher is kinder than all the Buddhas. They have the same qualities, but we've received directly more kindness from our spiritual guide than from the Buddhas. We develop respect by remembering their kindness in teaching us the Dharma. Not just in books, but directly, face to face, in the room. And think of how the teachers travel in order to do that. To make that direct link with us. Their physical presence. There's such a blessing and so inspiring. All this time, I think it's more powerful if you are visualizing and remembering and imagining your gurus or kind teachers. So we can develop respect from their kindness of blessing our minds. It is said that all realizations come from receiving the Guru's blessings. When we take what we know and what we've thought about into our hearts and we meditate on it, and then we finally have a direct realization, which then becomes part of us, not coming and going, but part of us. That is through the blessing of the Guru. They awaken our Buddha nature. They awaken it. Whenever it gets sleepy, starts to wither, starts to fail, they will awaken it. The presence of your Guru immediately inspires you and kickstarts you again into your practice. And we can develop respect through the kindness of attracting us to their circle by way of gifts. They support us, they provide sponsors. We may receive robes or malas or anything that makes us feel close to them, part of their circle. Now there is a prayer which you can contemplate, which you may have said or come across before. Guru is Buddha, Guru is Dharma, Guru is Sangha also. Guru is the originator of all happiness. To the Guru I go for refuge. So in whatever way you can, in the last few minutes of the meditation, consider how marvelous this relationship must be, how you aspire to have it, and if you have it, how to do it, how to pay it full service. Because of course, all these centers offering service is an offering to the Guru. As Lama Zopa would say, you create oceans of merit by offering service to your center. And that ocean of merit will lead you to an even stronger relationship with the Guru. Think Milarepa. Think Lama Zopa and Lama Yeshe. Lama Yeshe was Lama Zopa's Guru. When Lama Yeshe passed, really, Lama Zopa just wanted to meditate. He wasn't extrovert, outgoing, the great actor. And yet, when Lama Yeshe passed on, he knew he had to take on those qualities to lead the FPMT. And he did. And he gave up going into retreat in order to be the sole spiritual director and carry on Lama Yeshe and his legacy. There's a fine example, even at that level. Sacrifice. Because of the love and the compassion. And I remember with Lama Yeshe as well, when I asked this question, and I'm sure others did too, asking him a question, what shall I do? Never relying on myself. He would say, I trust your inner guru, you decide. If you need me, psychic telephone. So let's come back to that idea of the inner object of refuge, our own inner guru, and what that means to you. And you, your ego, make a strong relationship with your inner guru, with a vow to listen to it, to take notice, to learn to trust your inner guru. How do you hear it? Meditate. How do you get support? Psychic telephone. And gradually dissolve all those inner objects of refuge into your heart. The Guru, the Buddha, the Dharma, the Sangha. Wow, how incredible we are. We are light beings manifesting as flesh and blood for the benefit of others. And end your meditation when you're ready. So given the time, I think we're going to go straight into a meditation on Buddha nature and the bodies of a Buddha, which deepens our awareness of our ultimate refuge. So again, you can approach this as you wish. You can just listen as if they're teachings, but when I lead a meditation, I do try to give you some space to imagine or to consider this for yourself. So I'm leading it as a meditation with quite a lot of information for you. Okay. So just relax. Take some deep breaths. Give yourself some energy. As I say, if you're feeling a bit dozy, then just keep your eyes open and sit back and listen. There's nothing wrong with that. We can save ourselves for the last meditation, which will be a visualization of Guru Shakyamuni and mantra recitation. Just to bring everything together. If we're thinking about the body of a Buddha, we have to recognize that when we attain the realization of emptiness, and get special insight into wisdom. But at death, we're not going to return as normal human beings. And this is where the description of the bodies of a Buddha, how our Buddha nature manifests after Buddhahood for the benefit of other sentient beings. So it's very much part of the Mahayana path. When we become Buddha, and notice the when, not if, when we attain Buddhahood, we can manifest in any way we wish to benefit others. Now, our genuine, our natural, what is called the wisdom truth body, or Dharmakaya, is described as a final wisdom consciousness that perceives all modes of existence, ultimate and conventional, and all objects of knowledge. A final wisdom consciousness, the wisdom truth body. This is the truth. Actually, the Dharma translates quite often to being truth. So practicing the Dharma is the true path to true cessation and the final truth of the truth body. Got it? Truth. The only truth. Ultimate truth. So while resting in the Dharmakaya, you're an energy being. There's no more contaminated aggregates. There's purity, there's light. Now that is fabulous, but difficult to connect with. So in order to manifest to benefit beings, the Buddha takes on other bodies. The ones we know about most are the Sambhogakaya and the Nirmanakaya, which I will start with. So this is the Sambhogakaya, is also called the complete enjoyment body. So having manifested from the Dharmakaya, we enjoy in the Sambhogakaya the wisdom of bliss and emptiness. Bliss, unimaginable for us sitting here now. And it's a final form body possessing 5 definite characteristics. A final form body. Their definite abode is a pure realm, Aganista. Their definite body has 32 major and 80 minor signs of a perfect being. They have a definite retinue of superior bodhisattvas, not ordinary beings. They give definite teachings of Mahayana Dharma. And their time is definite in that they will abide in samsara until samsara ends without death or rebirth. They're not going to take death or rebirth because they're in their final enjoyment body. It is a manifestation from within the Dharmakaya. So think of the wonderful images that surround us of Medicine Buddha, of Tara, of Chenrezig, of Avalokiteshvara, of Manjushri. Now, some people get direct teachings from the Sambhogakaya beings. They have created incredible karma. Maybe you will, maybe you have. I'm not to judge. It is said that some great beings have seen Avalokiteshvara, who's emanated in front of them and taught them. There are many wonderful stories. This happens to these great saints who dedicate their lives to meditation and practice. But for most of us, we need something physical. And this is the emanation body, the Nirmanakaya. So this is an interesting one, and this is, as I understand it, it's described as a final form body, not having all the 5 characteristics, and spontaneously performing the Buddha's actions of teaching, blessing, guiding, healing, and helping sentient beings. There are 3 main types. The supreme emanation body, like Guru Shakyamuni Buddha, with all the marks and signs of a Buddha, and who performs all 12 deeds. That's the life stages. One of taking the decision to be reborn, of being born miraculously, and of doing all the kind of deeds of a Buddha that I talked about before. There's the life stages, learning the arts, and then gradually leaving home, of practicing asceticism. These are the 12. They all add up to the 12 deeds of a Buddha. And of course, Guru Shakyamuni is in our eon, that there have been Buddhas, supreme emanation bodies of Buddha that have emanated in other eons. So Guru Shakyamuni Buddha is our historical Buddha. I know it's tricky for me too. The emanation body, the Nirmanakaya, can also manifest as an artisan, a musician, an artist, a craftsperson. Now this is interesting because we don't know who walks amongst us. That is teaching us in an artisan emanation body. Now for me, I often wonder, was Shakespeare an emanation body? His words, teachings, incredible. I'm not here to promote that. I'm just giving an example from what I've thought about artisans who move us through the arts and their crafts, a way of connecting with human beings. And then there is thirdly, the incarnation emanation body. which is any incarnation or inanimate form the Buddha may take to benefit beings. Like a stone in the path that trips you up and jolts your mind towards something. Like a wave in the ocean that suddenly washes over you. Like a bird in the sky. Like a sign, like an owl. We don't know. So if we have experiences, if we are aware, if we are sensitive, then we might be led by a Buddha in ways which we will never know until we're enlightened that it was them. So the emanation body, Nirmanakaya. His Holiness the Dalai Lama. Nirmanakaya of Chenrezig. Yeah. He's seen as the incarnation, the manifestation of Avalokiteshvara, and as the patron saint of Tibet. Now, I don't know if you've heard this story, but I have to be careful with my stories because I don't want to say more than what they are. But the story I heard was that Khajuraho, when she was in Dharamsala, she saw getting out or into a taxi, Avalokiteshvara, folding all the arms. Everybody else saw the Dalai Lama. She had pure vision. Yeah? Pure vision. Yeah. So, Dalai Lama is the Nirmanakaya. The Sambhogakaya, I beg your pardon, would be Avalokiteshvara. And then, actually, he is the Dharmakaya, the wisdom truth body that can manifest to benefit beings. Now, there is another one called the nature truth body, or Sobhavakaya, 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 also described as a final state endowed with two purities. The natural purity, which is the ultimate state of a Buddha's mind, Buddha nature. The absence of the adventitious defilements that are obscurations to liberation and enlightenment, which is a Buddha's true cessation. Now, that one I feel unwilling to teach on because I'm not sure. So, let's look at that. So, Kaya is body, the four bodies of a Buddha. Mostly we talk about the Dharmakaya, the Sambhogakaya, and the Nirmanakaya. But the Sobhavakaya is there. The nature truth body. It seems that it's coming between Sambhogakaya and Dharmakaya. A final state. So it's not a final wisdom consciousness. It's a final state endowed with those two purities, Buddha nature and absence of obscurations. This is a Buddha's true cessation. And then there's Dharmakaya. That's pretty spacey, isn't it? Amazing. So, we can see, we'll just meditate on this for a few minutes now. We can see that when we take refuge. We are taking refuge in the Dharmakaya. Wisdom. We are helped through the Sambhogakaya, the complete enjoyment bodies of the Buddha that we visualize, and some people see. And we are taught and helped and guided by the Nimanakaya, who are in samsara, who manifest in samsara, possibly human form, or animal form, or in nature, or in any way, in order to move our minds towards enlightenment. So that then manifests as guru. So gurus, maybe not the Dalai Lama, maybe Lama Zopa is actually Dharmakaya. You see, we don't know. We don't know. And there is a little teaching here on seeing everyone as Buddha. Everyone you meet on the path. Everyone who challenges you. Everyone who is suddenly there to help you. A guide, a helping hand. May manifest as an enemy. We don't know. If we view everyone as Buddha, manifestations, emanations of Buddha, that transforms our life. So from outside, we're practicing the Dharma, we're being Sangha, we're being our own guru. We know we have the potential to be Buddha, inner objects of refuge. And then, in all their glory and possibility, the external objects of refuge. So that's why we have offerings and beautiful shrines and imagery to take us beyond the ordinary, to take us beyond the conventional into realms of being we can only imagine and guess at. Who needs a fascination with aliens and space when you've got this? And of course, that's why people do have fascination with aliens and space, because they're looking beyond at potentially higher life forms. And little do they know, it's just down the road in Santa Fe. All that wisdom. So absorb those imaginings and considerations into your heart. End your meditation, take a final stretch and a breather, and we'll end with Guru Shakyamuni visualization and mantra. And you'll see it says, by the merits I create through practicing meditation. That's the only change. Okay, but not yet. So you can join me in that. You can join me in the 4 immeasurable thoughts and in the dedication at the end. And then you can join me in some mantra. Just a few, just mantra, the Guru Shakyamuni mantra, which is Tayata or Muni Muni Maha Munaya Soha. Yeah? Chant. Okay, so absorbing a lot into your heart. So stay there. Stay there. So merely to remember the Buddha creates incredible merit and a closeness with the Buddha, and as protection from obstacles and negative actions. So the Buddha is standard visualization. If ever you're in danger, if you can't think of who or what or Tara, who is immensely helpful, then just to visualize the Buddha is incredibly helpful for allaying fears and negative thoughts. The whole meditation is made of pure light. You visualize the Buddha at the height of your forehead, about 2 meters away, 6 feet. Large as possible and facing you. So he has a throne. A square platform, fully and perfectly adorned with precious jewels. And supported by 8 white snow lines in all the corners, 2 at each corner. The snow lines are transformations of great bodhisattvas and are visualized alive and made of light. So try not to see any of this as if it's a statue. They're not prancing around, but they're supporting the throne. And Guru Shakyamuni himself is alive and very much in your presence and looking at you with incredible love. So his translucent body is made of golden light, and light rays emanate from every pore, streaming outward in all directions. And through each beam go numberless manifestations which reach numberless sentient beings and ripen their minds towards liberation and bodhicitta. So go really Disney with this, just let it go. He's clad in monk's robes. They don't touch his body, they hover over it, about 1 inch away from the body. This symbolizes the power of his realizations. His aspect is very loving and peaceful. Every atom of his holy body gives realizations. So if you are right for them, they will happen. The right hand over his knee is touching the moon disk in the earth-touching mudra, symbolizing his control over the Mara's temptations. He controls them through great love. So the moon cushion is above the platform of the jeweled throne. His left hand holds a bowl containing the 4 nectars of immortality, universal medicine, purification, and transcendental wisdom. It's that truth. Final, ultimate truth. His compassionate gaze is directed towards you and simultaneously encompasses all sentient beings who surround you. And here's your opportunity to bring in anyone, especially those who are struggling, suffering, in danger. But next to you, to the left of you, mother, daughter, sister, to the right of you, father, son, brother, friends, more family. He's free of all judgmental, critical view and accepts you completely as you are. His eyes are long, narrow, very peaceful. His lips are red, his earlobes long. His hair is blue-black and curls to the right, a bit like his robes individually. It's the purity of the light that makes it so. Each feature of his holy body represents an aspect of his omniscient mind. He is the supreme refuge encompassing Guru, Buddha, Dharma and Sangha. He looks at you with his compassionate eyes and says, "You, daughter or son of the lineage, if you want to be liberated from the suffering of samsara, I will guide you." And here we can say these prayers. I go for refuge until I'm enlightened to the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Supreme Assembly. By the merits I create through practicing meditation, may I become a Buddha to benefit all sentient beings. I go for refuge until I'm enlightened to the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Supreme Assembly. By the merits I create through practicing meditation, may I become a Buddha to benefit all sentient beings. I go for refuge until I'm enlightened to the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Supreme Assembly. By the merits I create through practicing meditation, may I become a Buddha to benefit all sentient beings. May all sentient beings have happiness and the causes of happiness. May all sentient beings be free from suffering and the causes of suffering. May all sentient beings be inseparable from the happiness that is free from suffering. And may all sentient beings abide in equanimity, free from attachment for friends and hatred for enemies. I'm just going to say this. I prostrate and go for refuge to the Guru and the three precious gems. Please bless my mind. I am requesting you to immediately pacify all the wrong conceptions from incorrect devotion to the Guru up to the subtle dual view of the white, red and dark visions that exist in my mind and in the minds of all mother sentient beings. I am requesting you to immediately generate all the right realizations from Guru devotion up to enlightenment in my mind and in the minds of all mother sentient beings. I am requesting you to classify all outer and inner obstacles to actualizing the entire graduated path to enlightenment in my mind and in the minds of all mother sentient beings. And Guru Shakyamuni is full of love and is so happy. And so he floats to the crown of your head and sits above you facing in the same direction. So visualize light and nectar beams, white in color, flowing from the heart of Guru Shakyamuni. These enter your body, speech and mind, purifying disease, spirit harms, negative karma and obscurations. They're washed out of you just as dirt leaves clothes when they are washed. While we recite the mantra, visualize white, yellow, red and blue light and nectar flowing from Guru Shakyamuni Buddha's heart, entering your body, speech and mind, filling you with great happiness and dispelling all wrong and impure conceptions. You receive the infinite knowledge of the Buddha's holy body, speech and mind. Taya Taya Muni Muni Maha Munai Soha Taya Taya Muni Muni Maha Munai Soha Taya Taya Muni Maha Munai Soha Taya Taya Muni 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 Muni Maha Munai Soha. We'll just say a few of the mantra to ourselves. Taya Taya Muni Muni Maha Taya Taya Muni Muni So Buddha Shakyamuni melts into light, absorbs into you, and your body, speech, and mind become one with Guru Shakyamuni's body, speech, and mind. Focus on this as spaciousness as long as possible. Beams of light are emitted from your heart to all sentient beings, to your Sangha, family, and community, to all the beings beyond, in your vicinity, in your state, in your land, and beyond. Take this opportunity to all the merit that you've created. Send it out in form of beams of light to every sentient being until all their obscurations are also purified. And then bring them back. And the essence of Guru Shakyamuni Buddha is absorbed into you. And rejoice, feel incredibly happy as we dedicate the merits and say prayers for the long life of these incredible beings that have been so up close to us today. We've really been able to consider why we say long life prayers. Due to the merits of these virtuous actions, I beg your pardon. Stay with me. Due to the merits of these virtuous actions, may I quickly attain the state of a Guru Buddha and lead all living beings without exception into that enlightened state. May the supreme jewel bodhicitta that has not arisen arise and grow, and may that which has arisen not diminish, but increase more and more. In the land encircled by snow mountains, you are the source of all happiness and good. All-powerful Chenrezig, Tenzin Gyatso, please remain until samsara ends. You who uphold the subduer's moral way, who serve as the bountiful bearer of all, sustaining, preserving, and spreading Manjunath's victorious doctrine, who masterfully accomplish magnificent prayers honoring the three jewels, protector of myself and others, your disciples, please, please live long. Thank you so much. That was lovely. I really enjoyed that. I hope you enjoyed it as much as I did. And all of you in space, out in the Dharmakaya. Thank you. Lovely to see you all.
Thank you.